We are gearing up for election 2024, but in the ever-evolving political landscape of Ghana, a formidable challenge is emerging to break the long-standing duopoly dominated by the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC, and the New Patriotic Party, NPP. Other political parties are reorganizing their front to become the third force, if there's anything like that. But what will it take? On the pause today, we'll unpack the policies of few of these political parties, looking at breaking the duopoly in Ghana's political landscape. Hassan Ayariga is the presidential candidate of the All People's Congress. He joins me in the studio. Also is Courage Nobel, acting director of communication for the Movement for Change, now called Alliance for Revolutionary Change, after merging with other interest groups. He joins me in the studio. We'll also be speaking to George Twum Barimah-Adu, an independent presidential candidate who was also bidding to lead the country in January 2025. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Mr. Ayariga, so you finally got your nomination, waiting for the Electoral Commission to open the process so that you can file and contest the election as a candidate of the APC. How has it been so far after the Kumasi Congress, and what have you been up to?
I think after the Congress, we've been touching base with some of the communities, the youth, especially. We're trying to make sure we get to all the universities, have interaction with the students, and then present to them our policy for education and the future of the youth. And then we are also planning to go to Boku, where I come from, that is ending of the month, to start the main campaign from Boku.
Right.
From the Upper East, where we move from the Upper East down to Upper West, through northern regions, Savannah, Bono East, come to Ashanti, and then come back to Accra. So we have a packed timetable for our campaign. And then we've been also doing the media.
Right.
And currently we are putting up our own media house to be able to get information out there. Because largely, the minority parties do not get the kind of coverage the major political parties are getting. And that is a disadvantage to the minority parties because they are unable to sell their policies. Meanwhile, they have the best policies. But because NDC and NPP have big platforms, the concentration of the media is on NDC and NPP.
But now you know there's also new media. Social media is also becoming very viable too. Now.
That's what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do, we're building our own media house in the office that will follow our campaign and rather give the information back to the media houses like yours, because a lot of content have been said from many of the minority political parties, but you don't hear it.
Right.
For instance, 24-hour economy. We have it in a 2020 manifesto, in 2020, and we've been hammering. But it wasn't heard until when President Mahama said it. Digitalization, we have it under e-governance. We've been talking about it every day. No one heard about it. But when the bigger parties make one statement, the media are quick. For instance, we have one major policy. That is one of the biggest policy Ghanaians should be discussing. Economic lockdown, right. By the APC. I don't see the media discussing it.
Economic lockdown.
Economic lockdown. This is something everybody should be interested to know. What is economic lockdown? How is it going to benefit Ghanaians? How is it going to transform our country?
Tell me a bit about it.
Economic lockdown. Yes, you see that we import over $1.7 million of rice every year. Over $100 million of tomatoes and canned, and we import fish. Everything we consume in this country is imported. And the reason why our cedi is depreciating so badly. Now, if you take Ghana, for instance, we've become a dependency. Okay, inflation is high. What do we need to change this trend? In order to change this trend, the APC has outlined 5 major policies for changing this trend. Even though we have 60 policies. It's first the Ghanaian first. The mindset of Ghanaians must change to believe that we must begin to produce whatever we need and consume whatever we produce.
Domestication, if you like.
Domestication. And the mindset. We need to have a mindset of believing in Ghana first and the Ghanaian first. If we have that mindset, then we have the capability of changing. Without changing our mindset, no matter what policy you bring on board, it will be zero.
Is this policy different from what government attempted to do before Parliament went on recess when the trade minister wanted to introduce this restrictive bill that was to restrict the importation of certain items, including rice.
No, that is just you trying to limit the importation. But in this case, we are not trying. The lockdown is not about limiting importation. The lockdown is about encouraging and promoting and producing whatever we have to produce. This is how the lockdown is. People lock down because of certain reasons. In the last pandemic, the world locked down because of COVID-19.
Right.
That was the reason for the lockdown. And most countries locked down. Now, with our situation, we are having crisis. And our crisis is economic crisis. So we are locking down because of economic crisis. So we have to lock down because of economic crisis, grow our whatever we consume, change our consumption pattern. So, for instance, if we import more rice, let's begin to grow our own rice. Grow cassava, maize, millet, fufu. We eat it with all kinds of yam and all this. So we change the consumption pattern and begin to produce cash crops, okay? And feed our country and make sure that we become an industrial nation, a manufacturing hub, and a production hub. Once we are able to achieve that, we now open our market to the world. By that time, we have achieved a lot. This lockdown is to say Ghanaians must lock down. One, I will lock you down to be able to produce for your citizens. I will lock you down until you clothe your nation. I will lock you down until you feed your nation. I will lock you down until you house your nation. I will lock you down until you produce good infrastructure for your nation. I will lock you down until you are able to get enough electricity to supply. Lock you down until you produce the best water. This is the purpose of the lockdown.
Right. Let me bring in Courage, your initial comments before we get into the main issues. And already you are battling with this, news conference. 6,000 supposed members of the movement, they say that they've gone back to the NPP. Let me allow you to respond to that with your initial comments.
Thank you very much, Elton. It's always a pleasure to be on, and greetings to your viewers and to Honorable Ayariga. I think you are meeting us here for the first time. But I think the movement for change is very focused on its agenda to make sure that we topple the duopoly. I mean, 32 years, 16 years apiece, the destination is only two, DUMSO and IMF. Clearly, they lack the kind of creative thinking that can bring the transformation that the Ghanaian people want. We've not seen that in the past 32 years. So it is time, and this year's election is extremely important, and it is the best time to have this change happen. And that's why, led by the colossal Alan Kyerematen, unblemished character, a man of solid integrity, but most importantly, the man who has a plan. He says, this is my plan, and this is how I intend to transform this nation, to move it from poverty to prosperity. And that is what we are all galvanized behind. So it is out of loyalty for nation, loyalty for country, and that is why we are all on board this agenda. In pursuing that, it would be naive on our part to think that everybody who probably for the excitement of the time came on board would not lose steam along the way, And so it comes to us as no surprise at all that 3 individuals out of all of us have decided to go back to the party.
They claim they are 6,000.
I always say one thing. When you interview them, ask them to name 30. We have a robust database of all our people. We know where they are. We know how many we have in each region. We know which towns they are in and who they are. So you can't just off the cuff just say 6,000. So no, who are they? Where are they? Even the 6 persons who granted the interview or had the press.
The news conference.
Yes, we only know 3. There were 3 other people that we have no idea who they are. They are not part of us. They've never been part of us. So it's...
and you are blaming the NPP for influencing these guys with money.
But we had picked intel as far back as the beginning of this year that the ruling party was going to come at us, and the strategy is to literally bribe some of our members, particularly those of us who are on the front line, to return to the NPP, so they can have a narrative that suits their purposes. And so we have been really watching. Some of the people who are going, we are not surprised because we've been seeing their movement. We've seen meetings they've had with people and all of that. And we're just waiting because, see, what we are trying to do is revolutionary. You cannot undertake a revolution with weak minds, with weak links. No. You need men of conviction. You need people who have the strength of character, to keep the agenda and to keep focused on it. So it is actually a win. It's a gain for us that some of these weak people have fallen off. It strengthens us. It means that our processes, our systems are getting tighter and tighter, because those are the entry points. Those become your weak points. So when the weakest fall off, it really strengthens you, and then you're able to keep your focus to execute the agenda. Nothing will stop the revolution that is coming this year, and you're focused on delivering that. The government has failed. It's not been able to deliver on its own promises.
But Mr. Kyerematen, on that score, I mean, you represent your own political party. You are the candidates of this political party. And you yourself alluded to the fact that the NPP and NDC may be well established. I mean, this new wind that is brewing, I don't know whether the APC is also, is there a consideration of some kind of measure, or you are capable of going on your own?
For us, the APC, we are a party, and they are a movement.
Right.
Political party, we have about 10 minority political parties. We are working on bringing all these 10 minority political parties.
These are like PNC, CPP,
yes,
and the rest.
All that. So we've had these discussions. I think the last time I met you,
yes,
we had this discussion. So let's see. Let the movements, let all of them also come under one umbrella, one movement, and the minority parties also come under one umbrella, one party. Then we have 4 that we can see how Ghanaians will make that decision. NDC, NPP, the movements, all of them under one umbrella, the minority parties all under one umbrella. We have 4 political parties. And I don't think if these 4 political parties should go into the election, NDC and NPP will have a chance.
If these political parties?
They won't have a chance. Look, we've done a lot of research lately. Believe me or not, the NDC and NPP have strong members of between 4 million and 4.5 each. That is their die-hard party members.
But put together, that is more than the voter population.
No, but that is more than the voter population for them. It's because they have also floating voters who then add. But they have 4.5 million die-hard members who will not make a change, whether to NDC or to NPP. But unfortunately for the NPP, he sitting down here is an NPP member. They've moved out of there.
I used to be.
No, I'm coming now.
All right.
So you used to be an NPP member. Definitely. They've weakened the structure of the NPP one way or the other, because some of them are moved. The perception of the movement alone, moving out of the party, can weaken your strength. Are you getting what I'm saying? Even if it is one person moving out, it can weaken your strength. You remember when I left PNC in 2016 and what happened in 2016 election and 2020. Now, if we look at these 4 parties, 4.5, there's a huge third force out there, numbering almost 6 million Ghanaians who have refused to either vote for NDC or vote for NPP. And these people are looking for hope. They are looking for political parties, minority parties, to merge and come under one umbrella, and they will support with them. Or any movement they think that if this movement is good, they will support. So the danger now is that how are we going to make sure that 7 million people come out to vote? If we are able to convince them to come out to vote, then I'm telling you the NDC and NPP will be either second and third.
And how are you doing that when the tag on every politician is that of thievery and corruption?
Good. And that is why you need credible leaders. You cannot present a leader in the 2024 election if he's not credible. So credibility matters in the 2024 general election. And secondly, the most important factor is that how is your candidate going to raise revenue to come out of the crisis we are in? That is the debt stock, the crisis we face as a nation, the inflation, the value of the city. These are the principal points that we all have to check. And this time around, the only way for us to win these souls is a one-on-one campaign.
With the electorates?
With the electorates. Because they've lost hope in politicians. Not only in NDC and NPP, they've lost hope in politicians. And they don't believe again that there is hope. But the hope is there. Hassan Erega is the hope Hassan Yaraga believes in them, and I think that sitting with them one-on-one and giving the kind of policies we want to use to change Ghana, I'm sure they will understand that we need another force, not the NDC and not the NPP, but they are the third force. But if they don't make the decision to change, there will never be a third force. We can do all the rounds and the campaigns, and if they refuse to make a move, then we are doomed. But look at this. I met two of your gentlemen going out. Very nice two gentlemen who were here with you. We greeted, we had a conversation. You know why? These people don't vote.
The engineers?
Yes, these are the elite who can make a proper decision for Ghana. They refuse to vote because they are tired of the NDC and the NPP duopoly and mismanagement and corruption. Those who vote are the 4.55 million Ghanaians of the NPP who are the die-hard, who do not, most likely don't even understand democracy. Okay? They come out to vote based on monetary values and things.
Right.
And they will make the decision of the 7 million elite people who have refused to come out. So, two ways. You either sit down and allow somebody to vote a president for you, or you come
or you
out,
participate.
you participate
in the process.
So now it's the participation that we need them to be on board.
I'll come back to talk to you about resources, because running an election in this country is no child's play.
Yeah, that's
I mean, you need money and you need hard money.
Yes.
The people you are competing with, they've been in and out of power before. They control virtually every sector of the economy, if you like. I mean, even our state-owned enterprises have been politicized to the extent that people raise money for political parties here and there. But you are operating from zero. How are you going to compete with people who are already established?
Okay.
Courage.
Yeah, I think it's true. I mean, they're very well established. They've eaten into the very fiber of our society. But that same phenomenon is responsible for the reason why it's difficult to have generations-long businesses in our space, because everything is politicized. So this party comes to power, you see certain businesses begin to go down. This party comes to power. So that politically related business, economic environment that they've created is the reason why we continue to sink and sink and sink. So what is important is that the Ghanaian people who are clamoring for change, I mean, every post will tell you that people want change. Now, that is the best currency for us. It's the highest currency for us. We will do our part by making sure that we give them a reason to change. And that is why the movement for change has started getting a lot of interest, you know, from other political entities like the National Interest Movement, like the Coalition Against Corruption. We have the Ghana First Coalition, and all of them, about 9 of them coming together to say that, you know what, we believe in Alan Kyerematen. We believe in his plan, the great transformational plan for the transformation of this country, and we believe in his candidature. So we are going to support him. This is bringing a lot of confidence in the Ghanaian people that this is a serious movement, and they are coming on board.
Yesterday on my way home, I was listening to a political scientist.
Yes.
Who, after the news conference by this group, who are saying that they've gone back to the NPP. And his argument was that since Alan, you know, broke from the NPP to form his own movement, he's only been moving around at the Ashanti region, Greater Accra, Western, Volta region, and a few other regions. He's yet to see Alan in the northern part of the country to governor support here and there. Yet he's going to an election where the parties he's seeking to unseat, they have reps in every district, every nook and cranny of this country. So his argument is that you don't appear to be ready, because 2024 is not 2 years or 5 years away. It's just 6 or 7 months away.
Yeah.
Interestingly, you know, when we started a movement, taking advantage of technology, we asked Ghanaians, particularly young people across the country, to volunteer. In our database, we have representation in every region. So before the candidate goes there are young people, boots on ground, in every region, working and mobilizing and organizing for us. You know, I understand the discomfort of even the scientists. You know, they are used to available data, to historical data, and that's what they use. And there's always a limitation to historical data. This election is the election of the unprecedented. And I've said that several times. None of the factors in this election is usual. You know, because of that, every single move might be strategic. So you've seen as after the economic summit that was held, out of which came 150 solutions for building our economy and transforming it. out of the first cluster, which is the economic cluster. Alan says one of the most important demographics is the market. You know, he made a statement that if you want to know the true state of the economy, go to the market. So he's taking his message to the market. And that has gone to the Greater Accra region, the Volta region, the Eastern region, the Central region, and the Western region. That is covering 5 out of the 60.
Right.
And we'll continue to engage all others. The most important thing is that, are they hearing the message? Are they taking the message? In the Western region, they're like, to wait. Yeah, to Obama, NPP and NDC, I want you to wait. We voted for the NPP and the NDC several times. They've not been able to deliver for us. So come and save us. That is where our confidence lies. And these are market women.
Let me
come so that I can bring in.
Let me
an independent president. He's also joins us via Zoom. But I'll allow Mr. Hassan Yarga a few minutes, and I'll bring you Mr. Twum Barimah.
Help you in something. I'm just going to propose to you and your candidate. I think Alan needs to build certain credibility now, and that credibility has to do with he detaching himself from the NPP a few months ago, and if he's able to build that credibility to detach himself from the woes of the NPP and what they perform.
Hasn't he done that already?
Yeah, I don't think.
You don't think he does that?
Okay.
You think he's still attached to the NPP?
I'm only appealing to them. That's what I think they should do now. Because it's very important. Because anybody who's going to look at Alan Kyerematen's performance will tag him with the NPP and said, oh, you just came out of the party, you say it's not good. But you were part of the party in the last 8 years.
And more important, whatever he wants to lay claim to, you'll have to trace back to the NPP.
You have to trace back to the NPP. So I would say work on that. Yes, work on that. I mean, we all want to take power, but I'm just giving you free consultancy.
All right.
Work on that and try and build on that, very important, and then you can move forward. And then one other thing that I realized they did that I didn't like as a movement was to impose one candidate on all of them. To say, okay, Alan is going to be our candidate. Which they should have allowed that to happen. They say, okay, Abu Sankara and everybody comes. We say, okay, let's do a vote.
No,
who should lead the movement?
I think I'll help here.
Yes.
Okay, please come in so that I can bring you
There were several engagements leading to that outcome.
Oh, okay.
And so this was a consensus decision
by
all of them.
All
the
right.
parties. They said that, no, we want you to be our leader,
right.
and we'll support you. In fact, even on the matter of running mate, none of them is clamoring for it. They're saying, let's sit around the table. Let's have a conversation. What we want to do is very important. And let's find out who can best complement your personality, what you bring on board. And we have always maintained, Alan, since 1992, all he sought to do is to help build the nation. He identified the NPP as the platform to do that. And whether it is NPP 1 under President Kufuor or NPP 2 under President Kufuor, he has given a good account of himself in terms of what he's capable of doing.
Right.
And I was left with one thing to say before you cut. I wanted to say one more.
Yes. Just
okay.
Let me bring in George Twum Barimah, an independent presidential aspirant who is also joining this conversation. Mr. Barimah, you're welcome to the pause.
Thank you so much.
Right. So we are discussing, how you are energizing yourself ahead of the December elections. I have in the studio Mr. Hassan Yarga himself, the presidential candidate of the APC and a communication manager with the Alan Kyerematen's movement. From your own point of view, how is it going? And are you absolutely certain that this is not going to be a fruitless exercise?
Not at all, and good afternoon to your listeners. I'm here currently in Bolga, just entered. I'm here for a few days. And so far, I see this election purely as a David, which is me here, and two Goliaths. And one thing I agree with the gentleman in the studio is this election is going to be different. And I am so sure that for the first time, the NDC and the NPP shall fall this time. This election, I don't see them actually winning this election. The whole of last year, I've toured the country and I've begun again. And I see from all the messages and all the data that we collect that it is clear that they are very good, meaning the NPP NDC, at campaigning, but Ghanaians know that they are very bad at management of the country. So I don't see a problem. I am back on the road again, and so far it's been good. And like I said, I see it purely as a David being myself and two Goliaths. So I'm very encouraged.
So for you, what are you telling the people? I mean, tell me about your policies. Okay,
so it's very simple. One of my policies, which I tell them, is ECCA.
And what is that?
Okay, so ECCA is basically coming to replace the e-levy. The e-levy takes money from you, but ECCA is going to give money back to you. So whenever you spend, anytime you spend money, that percentage of the e-levy that goes to government comes to you as a savings. And it's broken into three parts. One part is your pension, one part is for housing, and one part is welfare, which is after every 12 months for the welfare, you can cash out. So it is a form of savings where by the time you are 60 years old, you save enough because it's going to be managed by the tier 2, the tier 2 companies, and it's also in addition to your pension. And for those in the non-formal sector, it is a savings for them and a pension for them. My other policy is what I call district contract for the youth. Currently, I mean, like I said, I taught all the districts last year, apart from Boku, the two Boku districts, and Pusiga and Garu. And I met so many youth. I interacted with them, and their main thing was no job, unemployment. Meanwhile, so many contracts come to the districts every year, every month.
Right.
So this policy is to ensure that contracts that come to the districts that are like not complicated, not like, I mean, building a road or a hospital, but for classrooms and all the other things, is given to the youth in that district. Sanitation is given to the youth in that district. Feeding, that is the schools, the youth in the district. In that case, we are able to empower the youth in the districts to also be able to make income. One other policy is also what I call DDI, domestic direct investment. We have spent so many years talking about FDI, foreign direct investment. For the first time, I'm saying DDI. Everybody who lives in Ghana that uses locally produced materials in Ghana for his or her end product pays very, very, very low taxes. And you get all the government support as well. So these are a few of the policies I'm pushing. And also I'm coming up with a four-day work week. Monday, Thursday we work, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we are off.
So our weekend will start on Thursday.
Thank you so much. What I call work and happiness. So this gives everybody the time to do their own work, their own enterprise. You have Friday off, you have Saturday off, you have Sunday off. And also we can bank all the holidays to Friday if need be. And this will save us all the problems. So these are what I'm saying.
Let's like more of enjoyment for Ghanaians. Oh.
Work and happiness is what I call it. So every Friday is our day. So
but Mr. Barimah, are you able to do this on your own strength? I mean, the call has been made that why don't all of you put your ideas together, your strength together, your resources together, if indeed the ultimate goal is to unseat parties that are so entrenched on the ground?
Okay, I believe that the problem we have in the country is the political party. Like I said, the Constitution says that there will be a president who shall be head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. But we've had, for the last 32 years, parties that have replaced the head of state with head of party. So I've always believed that the parties have been our bane, they've been our problem, where they replaced the head of state. And the head of state, one policy that has been taken for all of us to see as the head of state is the free education.
Free senior high school education.
Yes, it is a head of state policy. Every Ghanaian is benefiting. And that is what it must be. So I don't believe in the political parties as a way of going forward.
Right.
When you form a party or a movement or a force, what it means is that when you come to power, only those amongst your movement or party or force are the ones who enjoy. So I see it as everyone coming on board. As a head of state president, I bring on board everybody, NPP, NDC, movement people, minority parties, third force. I call everyone to come and help build the country. That is how I see it. I don't believe in forming or joining a movement or a party.
Right. I thank you very much, Mr. George Twum Barimah. He's an independent presidential candidate for election 2024. Back in the studio, and Hassan Yarga is here. Mr. Yarga, I'm wondering, how are you financing your campaign? Because this is a very expensive venture.
Yeah, it's a capital-intensive venture. You know, it's a lot of money to campaign. It's a lot of money to buy the logistics you need. For instance, if you want to file, let's say, 30 parliamentary candidates, you need about 30 pickups.
Exactly. And I'm even wondering why we are not contesting the Joseph parliamentary by-election.
Yeah, the by-election.
Yes, I mean to test the popularity of of the party and your candidate there.
We decided to sympathize with them because of what happened in the Ejisu by-elections. We think that for us, it's not an opportunity for us to just show our face. No, plan well, execute your plan, and you don't need to test anything, and you succeed. We believe that we need to win the 2024 elections. I'm being sincere with you. A minimum of 50 million to 100 million.
Dollars?
Yes.
This is, for example, for just the APC campaign budget.
Party.
For any party.
Any party.
Between $50 and $100 million.
Movement. You need to spend at least from here to the 9 months, at least a minimum of $10 million
$10 million every month. And how are you raising $10 million every month?
We're not raising it, we're working on it. Whatever we have.
The money must come from somebody.
No, yeah, it's coming, but whatever we have, we spend. Whatever we want to have, we do. Just imagine you going around every day from one community to another. Fuel in the car. Fuel has become so expensive.
Right.
Okay. T-shirts are very, very expensive. To acquire a T-shirt now is about 30 Ghana, 35 Ghana cedis. So assuming you are getting 1 million T-shirts, that is over 35 million Ghana cedis to acquire. And people don't have the money to pay for the T-shirts. They expect you to give the T-shirt free.
Of course.
Then banners. We've done a lot of banners. Those small banners you saw in town, each one costed us 200 Ghana cedis.
And the billboards?
And the billboards are about 1,800 for a month. Come again?
Before the rental.
Before, yes. So these are a lot of money we spend. Somebody will be walking the street or driving the street and see us a regular billboard, 1, 2, 3. If you're counting them, you're counting 200 Ghana cedis for one. That's a lot of money because you need visibility. Okay, then you buy pickups, you fuel those pickups. Wherever you go, people are expecting you to donate something before you leave the place. You don't gather 100, 200, 300 people or 400 people. Look, we tried one of the schools. We spent almost 80,000 before we left the school. One university. Because they don't joke with their item 13.
Right.
And if you are calling, let's say, 500 to 1,000 students, and you're going to give item 13 with about 25 Ghana cedis, you're going to pay for the hall, you're going to pay for the place, you're going to pay for music and all that. By the time you leave the school, you've spent 50 to 60,000 Ghana cedis. And that is just for one meeting, among all the meetings. Then those who came with you, they are per diem. Those who are the campaign team, you have to take care of their hotel bills. And
there are staff you need to pay every month.
Yes, and you have their staff that you are paying every month. We have a lot of staff that we pay every month. For us, we employ professionals. We don't just believe in the partisan way. We think everybody should come on board to build Ghana.
And the resources for this, is this coming from your own pocket? Or you have people supporting you?
I will keep that one.
And on what grounds are they supporting you?
I'll be mute on that one. But if Joy FM want to support the APC, you don't actually need to give us cash. Just give us enough more airtime.
But for the sake of transparency, you say you want to be honest with the electorate.
Yes,
the electorate wants to know, how are you financing this campaign?
How we are financing the little we have, we put it in there. Some support us, party members support, because when you go to a community, some of the party members pay for the venue and other things for us. And the little monies we get from donations, from party, dues, that we use and add, and whatever I have, we add to.
But those are peanuts considering the amount of money you are telling me, $10 million a month. That cannot be coming from.
The party needs about $10 million to survive.
Horace, how is Alan financing this movement?
They have money.
I think for us, when you have a candidate who has such international credibility, his performance in private sector and in public sector, he's interfacing with a lot of people, and people know that they can trust him. So people are willing and ready to support his venture with the little that they have. All of us on board, we chip in whatever little we have, because what we want to do is uncommon. And so you don't sit down and think that some money will come from somewhere. But so far, so good. We've got a lot of support from the business community, from well-wishers, from people who feel that, no, something must change in this country, and you represent the change that we want to see. And they say, we put up a platform where people can donate. And through the platform you get 50 cedis, 100 cedis, 200 cedis, 1,000 cedis, and like we say, as it comes into the pool, you're able to use it to do what you have to. But the politics, like he's saying, is really expensive. It is expensive, and it's one of the things that going into the future we'll have to look at as a country. Is this the way to go? Is this how we want to do it? For the duopoly, it serves their purposes, it serves their means. So you've not seen any proper attempt at dealing with it. But it's one of the things that we do. And that is why the set objective of the movement is constitutional reform. The constitution we believe in 1992 was a wonderfully crafted political constitution. And so it's ensured that political stability for well over 3 decades. However, in terms of delivering prosperity, development, it does not seem to be too fit for purpose. So it needs to be fine-tuned to achieve that. And we have committed ourselves to doing that with the government of national unity, that would have championed the formation of what we call a national development plan.
And on the finance, I'm sure you've also read claims that you may be getting support from the NDC.
It is falsehood from hell.
If they're even getting support from the NDC, is that a problem?
I think, when you are...
As I sit down here, I'm being honest with you. If the NDC bring me support, I will take. If the NPP brings support, I will take. Why not?
Yes.
If they believe in my policy and they are sponsoring it, that means I'm a good candidate.
Okay.
You understand? Look, political parties now, currently the NDC and the NPP, they spend more money than they use in building this country.
That's true.
Yeah. They spend more money on their campaigns, more than what they spend in their communities to transform their communities. Right. And if they can change, instead of spending that money in the vote buying and rather build the community and the society very well, they will get free votes.
And I think this particular election, what I want Ghanaians to do, what I wish Ghanaians would do, will be to take it from the politicians. Take the election
and vote against them.
And decide that this is what, because see, the syndrome of party Hieska, to wait party needs money, has always been the problem. That's why you have people who have been engaged in several corruption allegations, and there's nothing done because they will tell you that part of the money went to finance the party. And that is why it is absolutely important that 2024, we break away from that system. When you do that, for example, Alan Kyerematen is an independent candidate.
Movement.
He has a movement of mainly young people supporting him. There is no structure, all right, that would say that this is it. What it means is that the winner takes all situation that we've been seeing. NDC wins, you see certain caliber of people, and it doesn't matter your quality or what you have to offer, you are sidelined. NPP wins is the same thing. That thing breaks. Now, he has said that he wants from government of national unity. What it means is that if Mr. Twum Barimah has certain expertise, you bring him on board. If there is expertise in the NPP, you bring them on board. In the NDC, you bring in the APC, you bring on board, so that you can have a government that is truly national in character. Outside of the political establishment, why does TUC not have a central place in our governance? Why doesn't the clergy and religious bodies, why doesn't local authorities, the chiefs, why don't they have such a stake? Then we can say we are building a nation. But this situation where we have a group of people, one political party, and everybody aligned to them is what gets the largesse.
It's not going to work.
It is not sustainable.
Let me ask a final question.
In the interest of our democracy.
In wrap it up, I just want to deal with some national issues. But first, Courage. I mean, Ejoso presents fine opportunity to test your popularity, knowing very well that Kyerematen is partly from Ejoso.
Yes.
Yet, we are not seeing anybody contesting the by-election on the ticket of the movement. Why?
I think consistent to what we've been saying from the very beginning, that the movement will not sponsor parliamentary candidates, but individuals are at liberty to be inspired by what Honorable Kyerematen has done to put themselves up.
Right.
Ejiso by-election is a very important election. We are monitoring it closely, and you feel our footprints one way or the other. We are closely interested in that election.
All right. Barimah, let me give you let me allow you come in on your final talks before I wrap up with Mr. Hassan Ayariga.
I agree with Courage that this election, Ghanaians should truly take the politics away from the politicians. I mean, we've had 32 years of the Fourth Republic, and we are actually currently in reverse. So for the first time, Ghanaians can truly take this politics from the politicians. I say this all the time, that it is possible to break the two and build the Ghana we want together without NPP and NDC, but all of Ghanaians. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barimah is an independent presidential candidate. Besides Ayariga, two national issues. Before you walked in, we were talking about flooding. And I always remember you with that picture, trying to deal with the flooding issue in your home, with all those beautiful vehicles all stuck in the flood waters. And there's also doom. So I don't know which one you want to start with.
I'll start with anyone. I'm an expert in both.
So let's start with doom. So are you feeling it?
Yes. Yesterday, I think I live in the area there in East Legon area. And we had lights out yesterday around 6 in the morning. The lights came back in the evening for 2-3 hours. As we speak now, we have lights out. So my generator works almost every day. Now the situation is that, how did we get here? When we had the former President Mahama and others bought Cal Power and all those kind of generators. I've been saying this over and over again. I'm just going to provide solutions to this crisis.
Let's hear you out.
Good. We have the northern sector of Ghana, that there's so much sunshine. Right now, the situation there is very hot. Why can't we design solar panels to serve that sector, that we have free sunshine that people are using to dry gari, moko, and all that? Why are we not thinking along that sector? That it's free for us. So
there's already one at Navrongo which we can replicate in the other part.
We can build those ones around those places and change their grid to solar. Then we have the coastal areas. Free wind. We have the wind wheel. If you go to Germany, that's what they use. Most of the companies in Germany don't even buy power from the national grid. They put on their own wind wheel. Even our home, some people, you see it very long and then it has a 3-bar rolling. So those coastal areas, the wind is free of charge. We don't even sometimes it takes their roofs. Let's put there and serve along those areas, coastal area. And then the national grid will be used to serve those people who are not around the coastal area or the middle belt. This is simple. And then, how do we process it? Look, one time I made mention that if the ECG cannot manage ECG, they should give it to me. I'll manage it very well for them. We are taxing Ghanaians so much. And because we are taxing them so much, people find ways of doing illegal. And because they do a lot of illegal, you are not getting enough revenue from the ECG. In Germany, where I lived, it was very easy. Everybody gets a flat rate
of electricity bill.
Electricity bill flat rate. We pick homes and they are located.
It doesn't matter the gadgets.
It doesn't matter. Just give them flat rate. Everybody will pay. So this building, you give a flat rate of 500 Ghana cedis. Every building in Ghana, give it a flat rate. everybody will pay. It doesn't matter whether you have a meter or not. Nobody. They'll pick them according to their house numbers, design it in every community, and give flat rate. I am telling you that the generation, the income we are going to get is 10 times better than what we are getting.
Government response, and for some, there appears to be lack of leadership in resolving this matter, because we are not hearing from from the energy ministry, the president, and all those issues.
They should consult me to help them in that aspect. And I'm not joking. I'm very serious about it, because you see, we are struggling. In Germany, for instance, what they did was that companies consume more, and they were paying very less. The more you consume, the less you pay.
Even in Ghana, it is the same. There's industrial tariff, which is lower than residential.
Yes, residential. But you see, most people go to work in the morning, and they get back home by 5. So the consumption of high electricity at that time is lower in the residential areas and higher in the offices. So you have to schedule your load shedding in a way that, even if you cannot, find a way of making sure that you switch the distribution channel very properly.
Courage, your thoughts on this?
All of this is at the heart of a leadership that is committed to doing things right. You know, whether it is the monopoly of ECG, Cocoa Board, or any other, all of them, all our national institutions or agencies that are having a certain monopoly are struggling. They are not doing well. And that is because mostly the people we put there do not have the requisite expertise and to get things done. And that is because the leaders we have do not have the right commitment to getting things done right. I mean, look at Cocoa Board. If Cocoa Board does not go for a loan, it's unable to buy and sell cocoa. That alone doesn't work. ECG, from JHS, when I became a bit conscious about national issues, transmission losses here and there, it's the same issues, and decades we've not been able to do anything about it. So you need first a leadership that is committed to getting things right, to getting our institutions to be efficient. That is all. When you have that in place, then you look at it. Is it the best? I heard Asantehene make a very important call that we should allow private sector participation in that space. And it's something that Alan has been talking about for years. That, see, private sector has even the capital. I mean, with the way our economy is structured today, we shut ourselves from the international financial market. We shut ourselves from the domestic market because of the domestic debt exchange that we did. So the only opportunity we have is private capital. So open it up. Let private capital come in. And when private money is in anything, they are very much insistent on corporate governance. That makes sure that the decisions that are made are in the best interest of this institution. And it will work. It is not rocket science. Flooding.
Just 30 seconds on it, because we are running out of time.
Why should it happen that in 2024, after every 30 minutes of rain, the entire place gets flooded? One, lack of enforcement. We have a leadership that's not committed to enforcing any law. Then, poor planning. And so when these two are not taken care of, and what that means is that everything rises and falls on leadership. And that is why for this year's election, Ghanaians must elect the leadership that has the proven capacity and the integrity to do right by Ghana.
All right, thank you very much.
And to that extent, I will throw an invitation to our senior, Honorable Ayariga, to join us. You should come and join the movement.
I think you made it clear, senior.
Senior, of course. So the juniors should join the senior. All right. So,
and then I want him to know one thing.
Right.
It would have been good for Alan if he had formed a party rather than a movement. No, you don't understand why I'm saying this. Because, you see, movement after election, you are gone.
All right.
But if it's a party, the 6 million people who ran out to the NPP.
Another forum for that, Mr. Ayariga. Thank you so much. Hassan Ayariga is the presidential candidate of the APC. And, of course, Courage is head of communication for the deputy head of communication. Another name is Change for Revolutionary Movement for Change.
The election, but the nomenclature for the alliance.
We wish them well.
Of course. Right, so for more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com.